All right. Thank you guys so much. Michelle, if you want to go ahead and pin me, that might help out. And everybody, if you will, go ahead and make sure you're muted out so then that way there's not any feedback. This is our foundations training tonight. And I am so excited because I'm actually going to be putting on my foundation while I talk about them so that way you can get a really good visual. So my name is Mary Ann Beach and our host is Michelle Byers. And we just have so many amazing things to share with you with our foundation. So a couple things, I do not have on any foundation right now. I did do my brows, eyeliner, mascara, and that is it. So that way when we complete the look, I will have a finished look. And so thank you so much, Mary Kay, for incredible skincare. I am almost 40 and I love the way my skin looks. All right, so a couple things with foundations. Number one, we always show skincare first, no matter what. Even if you're going to just a quick foundation checkup, you still want to show some sort of skincare because that is the foundation of all that we do. It really is, because our makeup is not meant, our goal is not to just cover up and hide things. Our goal is to, number one, correct the skin and make sure it's their best skin and they feel confident that they can go to the grocery store just like this if they need to. And then secondly, the foundation is just to enhance their natural beauty, okay? You want to get to know your customer and what their schedule is like, what their skin type is like, so then that way you can make the best recommendation for the foundation, okay? There's all different kinds, and there are so many women out there who have the wrong foundation color type or feel really scared to go buy one or just don't feel confident that they have the right one. Statistics show that usually 8 out of 10 women do not feel confident that they have the right foundation. So ladies, as consultants, you have an incredible opportunity to help build confidence in women by helping them find the right foundation. Okay, so with our Mary Kay foundations, they have a 3-year shelf life. And so a little goes a long way. So they'll last for a good while. And then also we have 100% satisfaction guarantee. So even if you're working with people virtually, we can help you match their foundations. And then if for some reason it's not perfect, the company will swap it out. No big deal. So that way your customers have the foundations that they absolutely love. Okay. So a couple of things we're going to start with. Number one, you always start with clean skin. Make sure they've got a moisturizer on. That's going to help the foundation look really great. Then we're going to do a foundation primer. I love our foundation primer and I love this lovely light. Here we go. It has SPF 15. I call it my crack cream when I'm in my skincare classes, and I'm using just a little bit like that. And you basically just put it everywhere. It's going to fill in all those nooks and crannies. It's super soft and smooth. And if you've never used a foundation primer before, you are in for a treat. This feels like rose petals. It's so nice. And so our skin, it's got bumps and it's got grooves. It might have wrinkles and it's got pores and stuff. And so this helps to fill all that in there. So it's beautifully smooth. I liken it to whenever you're painting, you prime the walls first to fill in all the holes, the nooks and crannies. And then when you paint the walls, it's really smooth and it looks gorgeous. So this is going to help you get a really flawless finish. It also helps to extend the wear of your foundation. So foundation primer, it also has SPF 15, flawless face, and extends the wear of your foundation. Okay. Next, I'm going to move from our sheer coverage, our sheer natural coverage, to our full coverage. We're also going to talk about liquid and powders. All right. So next is our CC cream. Okay. This is a sheer coverage liquid. And what I like to do is put it on the back of my hand. Okay. And I'm going to use one of our tools is our beauty blender sponge. Okay. I like that it's got a round edge right there. And I'm just going to take this. I'm only going to do half of my face so you guys can see the difference in the coverages. So I'm going to show you how I can layer all of them and never look cakey or overdone, because that's a fear that a lot of women have, is that they want foundation, but they don't want to look like they're wearing foundation, or they don't want to look overdone or cakey. You hear them. And so you can reassure them and you can say, what I love about our Mary Kay foundations is that even if you have the full coverage, they still look natural. And that gives them a lot of courage and confidence. And so I'm just going to sponge this around. Okay. And a tip with sponges, you want to wet them first. Okay. So that way it's basically saturated and it's not going to suck up all of your foundation into the sponge. It's going to distribute it onto your face. Okay. So also putting it on your face, on your hand, helps to warm it up so that it blends a little bit better. Okay, and I'm just stippling like dot, 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 dot. And this presses it into the skin, especially if you have mature skin. It helps to not like move the skin so much, and it gives you a more flawless finish. And then you can take this little pointy end right here and get right into those hard to reach corners, especially as our skin gets a little different colored right around that eye area. And again, I'm stippling. I'm not pulling and tugging and making super duper wrinkles. And notice I only used one pump, and you guys can already see that this side just has a nice, more even glow. It's not totally different, okay? But what I absolutely love about it is the color, the CC cream, it has 8 functions in one. It color corrects. So it minimizes the look of fine lines and wrinkles. It blurs skin imperfections like sunspots or acne scarring. It minimizes redness. It also is anti-aging. It moisturizes, and it has SPF 15. So this is like, I call it a tinted moisturizer on steroids because it has so many great functions. I love it. Isn't that nice? At first, because I was always a full coverage person, I thought this was not going to be good enough for me. But as I continued to use my skincare and correct my skin, I was like, oh, this is great. You also can just put this on with your fingers. So if you're really busy or you're someone, you have a customer that's not big on tools, I like that this is a great place to start. So this is awesome to use at your, if you do skincare at a first appointment and follow up with a quick dash out the door look, I start with this, or you can move this to their second appointment, okay, based on your preference. All right, so that's your CC cream. And this is the sponge. It's great to have a lot of really great tools. And you can mix and match a lot of these tools, all right? Secondly, I'm going to use, moving on to more fuller coverage, okay? This is our TimeWise 3D foundation. I'm going to use one that's in a matte, which is the purple stripe, okay? So this basically has the TimeWise 3D formula that's in our skincare. So it's super duper anti-aging. I love that it's correcting my skin and healing it and protecting it against the damage of the day while I'm just wearing my makeup, okay? So it's multifunctional. Plus, you've got 2 different finishes. You've got the matte and the luminous. So matte helps to absorb face oil and give you a nice flat finish so you're not shiny. Your luminous adds hydration. So if your skin is normal to dry, it's going to add that burst of hydration. Because here's the thing, drier skin ages faster, okay? And so you need hydration to give you that more youthful, glowy look. Not oily look, but glowy, like you're just radiant, all right? When you are getting older, or if you have drier skin, if you use a matte foundation or a powder foundation, that's going to make the skin look more dull and more aged. So if you have people who are getting up in their 30s and 40s and they have normal dry skin or older and they're still using just powder, you need to talk with them and recommend switching to a liquid foundation that has more hydration, because it's going to give them a more youthful glow. And you teach them those things, okay? That the powder could age them even more. All right. So for right now, I'm using this one, and I did forget to grab my luminous. I apologize, but here we go, back at the hand again. And I'm just going to use a little bit. A little goes a long way. Now for this time, I'm going to use a different tool for fun. And tools there's rules for tools, and then it's also preference, whatever your customer likes, okay? I usually show this liquid foundation brush because it's so easy and anybody can use it. And so it's got the stiff end, so that way it makes it opaque. The fluffier the brush, the more softer and sheer you're gonna get. The more dense your brush is, the more full coverage you're gonna get, okay? So I've got this, and I'm gonna go just dot, dot, dot around, pressing it into the skin. And I like that these edges get nicely underneath that eye area. Okay, so this is our liquid foundation brush, and you can use it with the CC cream. You could use it with the TimeWise 3D. Okay, there we go. So this is giving you a little bit more fuller coverage. And there are 3 different undertones with this TimeWise 3D. Okay, number 1 is warm. Number 2 is cool. Number 3 is neutral, okay? And the quick way, oh, you guys, look how flawless that is. I'm having a hot flash so you can see all this redness flaring up. Good times. So how to pick their undertone. First question to ask them is, do they prefer gold jewelry, silver jewelry, or both? Typically, if they love or feel like they look best in gold jewelry, they're going to be a warm undertone. Start there. If they really love silver jewelry and it makes them look the best, typically that's going to be a cool undertone. If they like both or can wear all of them, mixed metals, they're probably a neutral, like me. And let's see. So yeah, so that's how you start with your undertones. Now, in those undertones, we have ivory, beige, and bronze, okay? Bronze is for your darkest skin, ivory is for your lightest skin, beige is somewhere in the middle. And within each of those, there's also numbers, okay? And we have a chart on InTouch. There's a foundation chart that shows you the order of the depth. They are not necessarily in numerical order. So if you notice that a number is skipped in a group, just ignore it. Just go to the next color that's in the chart and just trust the process. And let's see. I wanted to show you these things. Someone will have to check and see if these are still available. These are great for keeping your demos. And so this, I have one of every matte color and I have it organized. I've got my cool to warms in one of them and then my neutrals to cools, and those are all in numerical order. So when I go to their advanced glamour appointment, so first one was skincare, got them on the skincare. Next, we're gonna, in the CC cream, then later follow up with this more full coverage foundation. I take those with me and I can match their skin, okay? And typically what you wanna do is, let me show you real quick. I'm just gonna pull some out of here, see what happens. I don't know what color I am in the other undertones. I'm just gonna guess, okay? Let's see. And if I were you, I would have the colors out, not like this, so you can read them very quickly. All right, we're gonna try a cool 220. For ivory to beige skin tones, you want to swipe like this, okay? You just take some and go, check that out. You can usually do about, like a darker and a lighter one, try about 3 different ones, and just keep trying until you find something. The most I've had to swipe someone was 6 times. And Michelle, you can make a note and share your little ticket game for picking colors.
Okay.
That was always a good one.
Okay, I'll do that when you me tell them now, or you want me to?
Sure, why not?
Okay, so matching foundation can be really, really scary at first when you're at a party. And so what I used to do before I got really good at it was I had my, my famous tickets that you guys always see me use at my parties. And I would tell them if I get their foundation wrong on the first try, they would get like 5 tickets. And so of course, everybody wanted me to get their foundation wrong. So that took the pressure off me, feeling so stressed about getting their foundation because it wrong. If I did get it wrong, they were still happy because they were getting 5 raffle tickets for my drawing. So there you go.
Awesome. Great advice. Okay. So then you check and see which one it matches with best. Now, with darker skin tones, and sometimes there are hyperpigmentation where the skin is naturally darker right through here and lighter in other areas, sometimes you're going to have to give them 2 different foundations. So basically you find a lighter foundation to go on top of here and the darker one goes on the other areas, and they just blend it, and that helps to give them a more even skin tone. Also, with skin that is typically red and flush, there's different things. Obviously for rosacea, we talked about how this one is really great because it does help to calm the skin and it minimizes those flare-ups. This can be used underneath other foundations, as you can see. So depending on the coverage that they want, okay? Also, if they are like a lot of red all over the face, but not through here, sometimes that can also be due to medications, okay? So if you're having a trouble matching like just the face, it's not necessarily cool undertone, it's redness due to medication. So you just got to ask them, if they take medications, and that's a factor. When you match them, you're basically looking to match the neck, okay? Because the foundation, they want the same color from about here to here. And I always tell them, because we're going to be covering up the redness, you might feel like you look a little lighter than usual, okay? Because we're covering up some of that color. And it might take you a minute to get used to that. And so I do let that kind of, once we get it covered up, work on something else, and I have them look at it again so that they can get used to their face being all one color because they haven't seen that in a while. All right. So it's just like anytime you try something new, it takes you a minute to adjust. All right. So we did the full coverage foundation. I also want to show another really cool brush. This is our full coverage brush. Notice that the bristles are a lot shorter and denser. And the way that you apply that one is by dipping it on there and then just swirling it everywhere. Okay. You also can use this just at the end as a way to blend. Okay. Because it gets rid of any potential streaks and it just gives you an even more flawless look. I think this is Michelle's favorite brush, and y'all know her makeup looks flawless. Okay. And you do want to take the foundation and blend it down to the neck. Okay. Because we also know we get more sun on our face and our necks are a little bit lighter. So sometimes there's a really big difference and you just need to blend it down. It's okay. What I love about our foundations is that they stay on our skin. They're transfer resistant. And so I love on my family and I'm all up in their face and my foundation stays on my face, not theirs. So I absolutely love that. Okay. Next thing, just we'll squeeze this in with our foundations before I move on to the next one, is our under eye corrector. I love it. It's my magic pen. It also gives me my highlight in a hurry. You can use either tool of these, or you can use your fingers. Okay. And I like this one best. This is, you can put a concealer here, and notice I'm stippling. Okay. Give me a second while I think about this. I love this because it has the peach undertones to help offset any blueness from dark circles. Plus it's got light reflecting pigments to help lift shadows. So like right through there, those smile lines. You guys, I'm loving this. Look how flawless this is looking. You notice as I now have an eye lift. How awesome is that? There goes the screen. It was giving me some nice lighting. Hold on. Okay. Anyway, that's our under eye corrector. You also can use a concealer, and that's part of building your flawless foundation face. Next, not last foundation. Another full coverage foundation that's kind of in between is our liquid cream to powder. Sorry, it's just cream to powder. It's right here. And it comes in one of these little cases. Okay. But in these cases, it does not stay. Okay. So like it can just fall out really easily. So if you're like me, sometimes I do things and I like move my hair and then it flies everywhere. So encourage your customers to go ahead and get a palette to put it in. They're magnetic, and that way they can build their own palette. They can fit in the Pro palette just like that. Or if they're really basic or need something on the go, they can use our Perfect palette and they can build that one. You can put their cream to powder foundation in here, and then our sponge. Here's my personal one that's lovely and dirty in here. More about that in a moment. So cream to powder, it is full coverage. It goes on creamy and it dries to a powder. And then Michelle, I'll probably have you weigh in on how it does with mature skin. I haven't used it in a while for that, but I just know it has lots of full coverage. Okay. So again, notice I am putting on lots of foundation, but it doesn't look bad. It just looks like I'm super flawless. What I love about this stuff. It's so amazing. Now, we talked about sponges in Michelle's group the other day, and all sponges are not created equal. I thought you could just grab some sponges, some makeup sponges at the Dollar Tree and be done with it. I didn't know Mary Kay could make amazing sponges. These are different. They are so soft. They're thicker and they're more luxurious feeling. And because they're rounded, they don't leave a line when you wipe. It's just like, it gives you more of a clean line. And so yes to these sponges. Okay. So there's our cream to powder. And then we also have Silky Setting Powder. So this one, a couple options. You can use it by itself for very sheer, natural powder coverage. So maybe for some younger skin or for oily skin that doesn't need a whole lot of stuff and they just want something super basic, put that foundation primer on and then this, or use your CC cream and then top it with this to set your liquid and then also to give you more full coverage. Another tip for liquids, you always set a liquid with a powder. Okay. It's just like whenever you get your nails done and it's base coat, color coat or in top coat, it just stays better, looks better. If you just do the color, it's going to come off a little bit easily. So always set a liquid with a powder. And so the tool for this one is this big fluffy brush, and it's so soft that I love it. So our silky setting powder, what I love about it, they upgraded it from the mineral powder. So you notice the old mineral powder had a silver lid. So if your customers are asking what's the difference, this new silky setting powder has a plant-based emollient that makes the powder even more soft and really makes your skin look more radiant and glowing. It's almost like there's a filter, it looks like. So my pictures now with this silky setting powder on before, I look younger, I look better, more glowy, and I love it. So you just get a little bit, okay? And if you have some excess, just tap it off, okay? Then you just tap, 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 and you just swirl, tap and swirl all over. And you could do a couple of topping it off if you want to, okay? Always set your liquid, so especially that concealer right around there, so that way when you blink, your mascara, that creamy mascara isn't touching that creamy concealer, and then you just have like finger paint going on underneath there. So let that mascara dry, and then let that powder set that concealer underneath there, so that way you stay like this forever. I've done an experiment. It does stay overnight. Don't tell anybody. All right. Another thing that's part of foundations is our translucent powder. I absolutely love this stuff. I call it the duct tape of makeup. I use it for everything. Okay. So let's say you want something really simple, or you're really great at highlighting and contouring, and you did this awesome highlight and contour. You don't want to put one color over the whole thing, or else you're just going to completely undo it all. So if you're really basic, you can just use this translucent powder to top off any liquid. Okay. It's also going to help absorb oil for 8 hours. How awesome is that? And here is it's multifunctioning. If you need your mascara to stay forever, once the mascara is done, fluff it on that mascara. It's not going anywhere. Also, your lipsticks. Okay. Put it on your finger. It'll make your lipstick stay forever. I love it. Also, you can just pop it in your hair if you need some dry shampoo. Told y'all. Duct tape of makeup. Translucent powder. Everybody needs this. Okay. All right. So you have options, and I love that. For if you're just starting out, the most basic is just foundation primer, CC cream, the under eye corrector or concealer, and then the silky setting powder and a tool. That is one of our flawless foundation sets that we talk about when you build a bag, that helps get people on a look that they absolutely love. Okay, so now let's finish up. We need, I don't remember if I told y'all earlier, I did my brows, I did some eyeliner and some mascara. So that way when you do foundation, a lip gloss. Oh, that was not fantastic. You too could be a Mary Kay sales director. Oh, we'll fix it. It's just makeup. Okay. It's kind of challenging to do. I don't usually wear lip gloss anyway. I'm a lipstick girl. Okay, we will come back to this. Also, I want to encourage you guys, you can go live as well and teach your customers just this. Okay. If you feel like, if you want to, do tutorials and stuff, pick one foundation to show, like, hey, I want to highlight the CC cream. Just put your makeup on in front of people. When you show them, they're like, oh, that's how you do that. So much better than just a picture. And they're like, well, if she can do it, I could do it. And so it's that simple. And then you put some earrings on and you just go. So there we go. Let me see if I got anything. Oh, contour and highlight for your more advanced folks. You can use 2 different cream to powders for your highlight and your contour. So like, you can't really tell, but like this is an ivory and that's a beige right there. And so if you're super skilled, you can do that. That's a thing. If you're not, if you're like, let's face it, I'm basic, which is most women, which is totally fine. Stick to the other stuff. Okay. That is it. Besides summer and winter, you always want to check up with your customers. They need a dark summer color and they need a light winter color, especially in these, your Timewise 3D. And then in the fall and the spring, they take those 2 colors and they mix them together. And then they have a a third color without having to buy a third color, because those have a 3-year shelf life. The CC creams, those are broad spectrum. Most people can wear these, especially if they don't get a lot of sun, they can wear them year round. If they get a lot of sun, they will need a second color. And then because these have sunscreen in them, you want to use it within 6 months or toss it because it has sunscreen. So there's foundations.
Awesome, Marianne. Thank you so much. All right, so I do want to just add one thing about the cream to powder. So that is our oldest foundation. And several years ago, we changed the name. It was just called cream to powder, and we changed the name to Endless Performance. So I want to address that because a lot of people were saying, oh, my color is not the same as what it used to be. Well, here's the funny thing about that. Hold on, I'm choking. The formula never changed. The only reason why Mary Kay, let me pin myself, where am I? The only reason why Mary Kay changed the name was because we sent our cream to powder to a test lab to find out all the wonderful benefits of our cream to powder. And where we thought it did like 2 things, they came back and said, oh no, this cream to powder does 8 things. And so that's why we added the Endless Performance name to it. But there was not a single ingredient that was changed. So if you inherit customers who say, I used to use the old cream to powder and now this cream to powder, it's the same. Like I only had 2 consultants who had customers that wanted to argue. And I'm like, I literally sat in the training and with the scientists, and I know for a fact that there was not a single ingredient changed. We just added the name because it does so much more than what we originally thought. So that's the story behind that. Also, okay, you might inherit customers who used to use our really, really older cream foundation. And some of you may remember that too. Those foundations were called like Bisque Ivory, Fawn Beige, Antique Ivory. I was an Antique Ivory. And so that was very popular and it was for dry skin. So cream foundation was for dry skin. It came in the little cake pod, just like Marianne just showed you that the cream to powder came in. You used a sponge. Well, Mary Kay always said we will never discontinue that because we will have women that will hunt us down to kill us if we discontinue. I sat in the training one day for that too, when we were going through different a transition with foundation, and they said we will never discontinue it. Well, guess what? A couple years later, they didn't have a choice because this was like our original foundation. They could no longer get the ingredients to make cream foundation, and it was for dry skin. Cream to powder foundation cannot be worn really with dry skin. It is too drying. Like Marianne says, it goes on creamy, dries to a powdery finish. It is ideal for oily skin. Okay. So if you do inherit customers who say, I want that cream foundation, please get more details and make sure you give them the right foundation for their skin type. Okay. Even if they think, because they might think that they're getting the cream to powder, because they used to mistakenly say, I want the cream to powder. And then I would say, but you got dry skin. And they would say, oh, Fawn Beige. I'm like, oh, no, that's cream. Because they get confused because they don't know. So that's some tips for you and some history of our old foundation formula. And this, I know Marianne probably said this. I was trying to text and do some follow-up, sorry, but the 3D formula is a patent. It's a new patent. And so if you know this, Mary Kay has now over 1,600 patents on our ingredients, our formulas for different and various products that we have, plus packaging and compacts and pumps. So 1,600 things that we invented, okay, that we have a patent on. And so be proud of that. And our newest foundation has the newest patent. So, all right, a little bit of history there. So I'm going to stop the recording if you guys have some questions.